Yeah, my favorite part of the pre-draft process and the senior Shrine Bowls is the small school guys get competing with the big dogs. So that's what I love about it. That's my favorite part of like scouting and college football analysis is finding the small school guys who can make it at the next level. And specifically, we'll get into Toledo's Emmanuel McNeil Warren, who's one of my favorite prospects. Going back to, I'm from Toledo, so I'm a big Rockets fan. So Quinion Mitchell and Darius Alexander were two of my favorite prospects over the past few years. So tell me about, like you said, my guy, Emmanuel McNeil Warren, and what kind of his projection could be at the next level. And do you think he's going to be able to keep up with the big dogs, I guess?
Yeah, I mean, Quinion is another great example, right? He was this guy who probably day 2 prospect going into the Senior Bowl, and then he's the corner everyone's talking
about. Super Bowl champion in year 1, yeah.
He's CB1 in that draft, if my memory serves. I'm pretty sure he was the first corner taken off the board. So, I would say the Senior Bowl made him some money. And Darius Alexander's another good guy. We were talking about that before recording, because he was a guy with like these crazy fast hands on tape, but I was like, he's 25 years old. Does it really look that way, or is it like lower level of competition that makes him look quicker than he is?
Right.
But dude, he got out there and he was working. And he was working into your offensive lineman up in both guard spots, center. You named it. He lined up against them, and the hands were so fast. The feet were quick too. So to me, that was an opportunity that, okay, what I'm seeing here matches what I see on tape. So it's paramount for these small school guys, because it's not always the same when, comparing Toledo and, Grambling State, just pulling a random opponent out of the head versus Georgia.
Yeah, and I always thought it's interesting too. Like you look at like these players like PFF grades, and it's like you see like because PFF grades don't account for strength of schedule or opponent, but it's like you see a Toledo DB with a 91 grade, and you're like, okay, is it the bad opponents or is this guy just that good? And when the stats match the eye test, you're good, and it's like, okay, this guy's a dog. This guy can do it. This guy can keep up with
another small school guy. Marshall's Mike Green last year. And I know Mike Green wasn't the best rookie year,
huge
but
riser.
Small school guy who, played at a P4 school, got dismissed. So that was another aspect. He got dismissed from Virginia.
He had the highest PFF grade at edge rushers. So there you go.
Yep. Exactly. But the fact that he had been dismissed from a team, and you wanted to see, hey, is the Marshall guy just whipping up on like Marshall comp, or is he going to like do this? That was a great opportunity for him to showcase the on-field stuff, but also get out in front of, hey, I know the Virginia thing, it was a one-strike policy, it was an allegation, I never got charged. It was a chance for him to get out in front of all that. But getting into this year's class, McNeil Warren and Chris Johnson are probably the two small school guys, and then Ted Hurst on the receiver side, I'm very interested in, because they just come from these small schools. McNeil Warren's probably the one I'm the most confident about, because, dude, the body type.
He's huge,
he's got
for
a
safety.
knack for just punching at lead. Yeah, dude. Like and especially in this day, like you look at Nick Emanwari and how the Seahawks use him, that's not the comp, and I don't think he's going to have like a 10.0 RES score like Emanwari did, but like you think about his length and his tackling and all the things that you could do in a versatile scheme by putting him in the box, putting him in the nickel. So he's a really interesting player there. For me, it's not just, I think he's good enough to play with guys at a P4 level. It's just the athletic levels. I want to know, does he look like the same tier of athlete as the P4 guys around him? I think he's got the talent and he's got the skill, but now is he that same caliber of athlete? And safety is a position, especially box safety, you can probably get away with some of those limitations. But I'm just curious, because we may see him and they have the tracking data and the chips and stuff, and he might have the top safety speed out there, and all of a sudden that concern is gone out the window, and I don't have to worry about it anymore. And then Chris Johnson, another guy, corner from San Diego State. So obviously I'm saying San Diego State, small school. I think he could have a Quinion Mitchell type of week where we come out of this and we're like, that's a first rounder. The tape to me is great. Man zone, on, off coverage. It's stellar. And he's got good ball skills. But just another guy where like, where's the athleticism really? Like, where do you stack up against future NFL competition? So another guy where I'm kind of wondering that. And then switching sides, another small school guy, Ted Hurst. 6'3", 195, Valdosta State transfer to Georgia State. So we're talking small school throughout his entire career. But dude, here, let me pull up his numbers real quick. I mean, he put up some gaudy numbers. Now, granted, again, at a small school. But what does he look like outside of that? 125 targets, 71 catches. So man was getting fed. But what does he look like? And especially at 6'3", 195, that's just an interesting body type. So he's probably someone that to me looks like he could bulk up a little bit. Also 17 forced missed tackles, and nobody's getting tackled at the Senior Bowl, but you still get an idea of like how shifty a guy is. Could he make some guys miss the next level? So I'm curious to see Was he making guys miss at Georgia State because it's Georgia State comp, or he's going to have the same sort of goods after the catch at the Senior Bowl? So just as some of the small school guys that and you know what? I'll throw one more at you. Cole Payton, quarterback, North Dakota State. This is a quarterback class that's hurting for any sort of hopium they can find. And I've only watched 2 games. I don't really see QB3 in this class, but there are people who are solely convinced that he is the next best guy from a tools perspective, athleticism, and just pure natural arm talent. So I'm not there yet, but maybe this is the week I see him in practice and I decide, hey, let me go back and just double check and like reevaluate what I've seen now that I've seen it in person. And maybe that will be the change I need. I wasn't a huge Tyler Shuck guy. He wasn't really on my radar just because when I watched him on broadcast, I didn't think he was very good. Then I saw him at the Senior Bowl and I'm like, okay, this guy looks like kind of like poor man's Carson Palmer. Let me go take another look at this. And he's a 40th overall pick before you know it. So who knows? Cole Payton, another one of these small school guys. And they have a weird offense. So it'll be good to see him in something that's not, I don't want to say gimmicky, but something that's more NFL translatable is what I'll say.